Lucas Ashford arrived at Le Chateau 15 minutes early, as was his habit for everything in life. The exclusive restaurant was his assistant's choice, selected for its private dining rooms and discreet service. Perfect for yet another blind date that would inevitably go nowhere. At 38, Lucas had built Ashford Industries into a tech empire worth billions. He'd achieved every professional goal he'd set, but his personal life remained stubbornly empty. "Your guest has arrived, Mr. Ashford," the maitre d' informed him. Lucas looked up from his phone and felt the world tilt. The woman being escorted to his table wasn't the corporate lawyer his assistant had arranged for him to meet. She was blonde, wearing a simple cream sweater that had seen better days, and looking around the opulent restaurant with wide-eyed nervousness. It was Emma Sullivan, who'd lived 3 houses down from him when they were kids. Emma, who'd taught him to climb trees and shared her lunch when he forgot his. Emma, who'd been his first kiss behind the school gymnasium when they were 14. Emma, who disappeared from his life when her family moved away the summer before high school. She hadn't seen him yet. Lucas watched as she approached the table, clearly uncomfortable in the elegant surroundings. The maitre d' pulled out her chair, and she sat down, fidgeting with her napkin. Then she looked up and their eyes met. The color drained from her face. "Lucas? Emma." His voice came out rougher than intended. "What are you doing here? I think there's been a mistake. I'm supposed to be meeting someone for a job interview, a nanny position for a Mr. Ashford's daughter. The employment agency said to meet here at 7. Understanding crashed over Lucas. His assistant had scheduled 2 appointments for the same time, a blind date and interviews for a nanny for his 8-year-old daughter Sophie. Somehow the wires had gotten crossed. "There's no mistake," Lucas found himself saying. "I'm Mr. Ashford. Please stay. Let's talk." Emma looked uncertain. "I don't understand. You need a nanny?" "I do. My daughter Sophie needs someone reliable, someone kind. The agency sent over several candidates and you're one of them. But you didn't know it was me." "No, I didn't." Lucas studied her. 24 years had passed since that summer, but he could still see traces of the girl he'd known. The same warm eyes, the same gentle smile, though now there was a wariness that hadn't been there before. "Emma, what happened? Where did you go?" "My dad got a job in another state. We moved suddenly. I tried to write to you, but I didn't have your new address after your family moved to the estate district. I looked for you. After we moved, I came back to the old neighborhood. Your house was empty." Emma's expression softened. "You looked for me? Of course, you were my best friend. And then you were just gone." The waiter appeared, clearly expecting to take an order. Lucas waved him away. "Tell me about your daughter," Emma said, changing the subject. Lucas pulled out his phone and showed her a picture. Sophie had his dark hair but her late mother's green eyes. "She's beautiful," Emma said softly. "She is. And she's been through a lot. Her mother died 2 years ago, cancer. Since then, Sophie's been quiet, withdrawn. I've had 4 nannies in 2 years, and none of them have been able to connect with her. I'm sorry about your wife. Thank you. It's been hard on Sophie. She needs someone stable, someone who'll stay, someone who'll see her as more than just a job. And you think that might be me? I don't know, but I'd like to find out. Why don't we have dinner, and you can tell me about your life? Then we'll discuss the position." Emma hesitated, then nodded. "All right. But Lucas, I should be honest. I saw the address of this restaurant and I almost didn't come. I can't afford to eat at places like this. I'm not in your world anymore. I'm not sure I ever was." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm a single mother working 2 jobs to make rent. I clean houses during the day and waitress at night. I'm only here because the nanny position pays more than both my jobs combined, and I'm desperate." Lucas felt something crack in his chest. "Tell me everything." Over dinner, Emma's story emerged. She'd gotten pregnant at 22 by a man who'd promised forever and delivered abandonment. Her daughter Lily was now 5 years old, bright and energetic in the center of Emma's world. "Her father wanted nothing to do with us," Emma said quietly. "He signed away his parental rights before she was even born. It's been just the 2 of us ever since. That must be incredibly difficult." "It is. But Lily makes it worth it. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'd like to meet her." Emma looked surprised. "Why?" "Because if you're going to be Sophie's nanny, Sophie and Lily will spend time together. I need to know they'll get along. You're offering me the job? Just like that? I'm offering you the chance to meet Sophie and see if it's a good fit. But Emma, I'll be honest. The moment I saw you sitting at this table, something clicked. You're kind, you're genuine, and you clearly love your daughter. Those are the exact qualities Sophie needs. Lucas, there's something you should know. I'm not trained as a nanny. I've only ever taken care of Lily. I don't have references or certifications. I don't care about certifications. I care about finding someone who'll treat Sophie like a person, not a paycheck. Can you do that? Of course. But why me specifically? You must have had other qualified candidates. Lucas set down his wine glass. Because 24 years ago, a girl named Emma taught me what kindness looked like. She shared her lunch when I forgot mine, defended me when kids made fun of my second-hand clothes, and made me believe I could be more than where I came from. I've spent my whole adult life looking for that kind of genuine connection. And here you are needing exactly what I can offer, while I need exactly what you can give. That's not coincidence, Emma. That's opportunity. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I thought you'd forgotten about me. I've never forgotten. Not once. The following Saturday, Emma brought Lily to Lucas's estate for a trial day. Sophie was skeptical at first, eyeing both Emma and Lily with the wariness of a child who'd been disappointed before. But Lily, with the fearlessness of a 5-year-old, walked right up to Sophie and announced, "You have a pretty room. Want to show me your toys?" Sophie, caught off guard by such directness, nodded and led Lily upstairs. "She's bold," Lucas observed. "She's never met a stranger," Emma said. "Sometimes I worry about that, but mostly I'm grateful. She makes friends so easily." They watched the girls through the monitor Lucas had set up in Sophie's playroom. Within minutes, Lily had Sophie laughing at something, the sound bright and unexpected. "When's the last time you heard her laugh like that?" Emma asked softly. "Not since before her mother died." Over the following weeks, Emma settled into her role. She arrived each morning at 8, stayed until 6, and transformed Sophie's world. She taught both girls to bake cookies, read them stories with different voices for each character, and listened with genuine interest to their elaborate imaginings. Lucas found himself coming home earlier, making excuses to check in, prolonging dinner just to watch Emma interact with the girls. "You're staring again," his assistant Maria noted one afternoon when she stopped by with documents. "I'm not staring. You're absolutely staring, and you have been ever since you hired her. Who is she really? Someone I knew a long time ago. Someone I thought I'd lost." Maria studied him. "You're falling for her. That would be inappropriate. She works for me." That didn't answer my question. Lucas couldn't deny it. He was falling for Emma. Or maybe he'd never stopped falling, and this was just the continuation of something that had started 24 years ago behind a school gymnasium. 3 months into Emma's employment, Sophie asked Lucas a question that changed everything. "Dad, can Emma and Lily live with us?" "What?" "They have a small apartment. Lily says they share a bedroom. But we have so many rooms here. Can they stay in the guest house? Then Emma wouldn't have to drive so far, and Lily could play with me every day." Lucas knew he should say no, knew that inviting Emma to live on the property would cross professional boundaries. But he found himself calling Emma that evening. "Sophie asked if you and Lily would consider moving into the guest house. I want to make it clear this is separate from your employment. The guest house is fully furnished, you'd have complete privacy, and there would be no rent. You could save money for your future, but only if you're comfortable with the arrangement." Emma was silent for a long moment. "Lucas, why are you doing this?" "Because Sophie wants her friend close by. Because I can help and it costs me nothing. Because watching you work 2 jobs while raising a daughter alone when I have resources sitting empty feels wrong. It feels like charity. It's not charity. It's me trying to be the kind of person you taught me to be all those years ago, the kind who helps when they can." Emma moved in 2 weeks later. The guest house was modest by estate standards but palatial compared to her studio apartment. Lily had her own room for the first time in her life. "This is amazing," Emma said, looking around with wonder. "I'm glad you like it." "And Emma, you're not beholden to me because of this. If the nanny position doesn't work out, you can stay here anyway. This isn't contingent on your employment." Why would you do that? Because you're my friend. Because I want to help. Because for the first time in years, my house feels like a home. Instead of just an expensive building I sleep in. Over the following months, something shifted. Lucas and Emma fell into a comfortable routine, family dinners, weekend outings with the girls, quiet evenings after the children went to bed. "Do you remember that summer?" Emma asked one night as they sat on the guest house porch, watching fireflies. "Which part?" "The part where you kissed me behind the gym and then got so embarrassed you ran away." Lucas laughed. "I was terrified. You were my best friend and I was sure I'd ruined everything. You didn't ruin anything. I'd been hoping you'd kiss me for weeks." "Really? Really? Lucas, can I ask you something?" "Anything. What is this, between us? Is it just nostalgia? Old friends reconnecting? Or is it something more?" Lucas turned to face her fully. "I don't know what label to put on it, but I know that I think about you constantly. That I come home early just to see you, that watching you with Sophie makes me feel things I haven't felt since before my wife died. And I know that scares me, because you work for me and I don't want to make you uncomfortable or put you in a position where you feel obligated to reciprocate. What if I do reciprocate? What if I've been feeling the same way? Then I'd say we need to figure out how to navigate this carefully, for the girl's sake as much as ours." Emma reached for his hand. "I loved you when we were kids, Lucas, that innocent, first love kind of feeling. When I saw you in that restaurant, I felt it all come rushing back. And every day since, watching you with Sophie, seeing the kind of father and man you've become, I've been falling all over again. Emma, I can't promise this will be easy. My life is complicated. The media attention, the business demands, I don't care about any of that. I just care about whether you're willing to try, to build something real with me and see where it goes." Lucas pulled her close. "I've been trying to build something real my entire adult life. I just didn't know it was you I was trying to build it with." They told the girls 3 months later, after they were certain their relationship was stable and serious. "Does this mean Lily's going to be my sister?" Sophie asked. "Not officially." "Not yet," Lucas said. "But Emma and I care about each other very much, and we want to see if we can build a family together, all 4 of us. I think that's a good idea," Sophie announced. "Emma makes you smile. You didn't smile much before she came." Lily, characteristically direct, asked, "Are you going to marry my mom?" "Someday, if she'll have me," Lucas said, looking at Emma. "Is that okay with you?" "Yeah, you're nice. And you let me have extra cookies." "That's a ringing endorsement," Emma said, laughing. They married a year later in a small ceremony in the estate gardens. Sophie and Lily were flower girls, walking down the aisle together, best friends who were about to become sisters. In his vows, Lucas spoke about the girl who'd shared her lunch and the woman who'd shared her life, about how the best things in life come full circle if you're patient enough to wait. In hers, Emma talked about the boy who'd climbed trees with her and the man who'd given her daughter a home, about how sometimes the universe gives you second chances with people you thought you'd lost forever. 24 years ago, Lucas said in his toast at the small reception, "I lost my best friend. I spent my entire adult life building a fortune, achieving every professional goal, and feeling fundamentally alone. Then one night, I walked into a restaurant expecting another disappointing blind date, and there she was. Emma Sullivan, now Emma Ashford, who taught me that wealth isn't measured in money but in the people who make life worth living." Years later, when people asked how they met, Emma would tell 2 stories. "We met when we were kids," she'd say. "He was my best friend, my first kiss, my first love. Then we met again as adults when I showed up to interview for a nanny position and discovered my potential employer was the boy I'd never stopped thinking about." For Lucas, the lesson was about the unexpected ways life answers prayers you didn't know you were praying. "I thought I was hiring a nanny," he'd tell people. "I was actually finding the family I'd been missing my entire life. Emma came back to me when I needed her most, bringing Lily, who became Sophie's sister and mine. I thought I'd lost her forever. Instead, I just had to wait until we were both ready to find each other again." The blind date that never happened led to a job interview that changed 4 lives. The poor nanny turned out to be a childhood love. The lonely CEO discovered that the wealth he'd been chasing his whole life had been waiting in a memory he'd carried since he was 14 years old, and two little girls who'd started as playmates became sisters, bound not just by their parents' marriage, but by the genuine affection of children who chose each other as family. The end. If this story reminded you that sometimes we have to lose people to find them again, when the timing's right, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales about childhood loves, second chances, and building families from unexpected connections. Comment below about someone you lost touch with and later reconnected with, or a time when the timing finally aligned for something you'd been waiting for. Your story might give someone else hope that what's meant to be will find its way back.